in this room. Can I hear say yeah, yeah? No, Zandi. Do you think that was enough?
No, I think maybe we can take it a bit higher.
Can we?
Can we try and warm up our voices?
Okay, can we go? 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah!
This is us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zandi, as you have indicated, that we are in this room as young people and we are here to claim our space.
That's correct.
We are not here because we want to be given a space. We are claiming our space as young people. And we're saying we have the voice, we know the challenges of ours, and we are here to debate and give a way forward as young people on the issues of
a lot of issues that are affecting us as young people, but the key one, we know HIV and AIDS and unemployment, the issues of blessers. As a young woman, Mawe, can I share this?
You can.
Do I have some time?
Not too much though.
Okay,
so
I will
please.
be brief. So we all have experiences. Mawe and I have kindly shared that where we met in Kenya at the airport, but it has not been easy for all of us. And I'm sure my peers in this room will agree with me that the journey is hard sometimes and you have to make choices. And those choices will lead to other choices, consequences. And as a young woman coming from, I don't know if there are any people from Pretoria here, can you just wave and make some noise? I have my people here. Completing my studies, but making sure that that thing that leads you to wake up in the morning, sometimes even when you don't feel like waking up, just following your dream. Hence the theme, empowering young people. We cannot empower you, but we can create a space for you to take back your power. Like Umawi has said, we are here as young people to claim the space.
Yes, Sandy.
Yeah.
And because I know you are so young and young people don't stop talking.
Yeah.
And so I want us to continue with the program.
Definitely.
So that we can make sure that we follow the program. So let's continue. Now, I want us to call someone that some of you and me, we can call him our father.
Yes.
Others are calling Doctor. I also call him Dr. Rams. And others are calling him Dr. Ramnik.
Yes.
Dr. Ramnik, we want you to come forward because the opportunity has been given to young people to be in this room. Higher education and training, HIV and AIDS has created a space. So let's allow Dr. Ramnik to welcome us. Over to you, Doc.
Good morning, everyone. To the Honorable Deputy Minister, many other political senior leadership, Vice Chancellors, Rectors, who's and who's, but the most importantly, the young people. This is for you. It has been our vision to have once in South Africa hear the youth voice. I'm informed that over 2,500 young people, and as I'm standing and I'm seeing many more walking inside, some of you have no space to sit, some of you are in the other satellite room hearing. But my message is clear to you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. It's a very honest attempt. When I started this discussion around that we can bring young people, I thought 500 young people sometime I can bring in. But the love, the enthusiasm, the passion you all have, it made it possible to seat over 2,500 young people. I also want to acknowledge who are these young people. These are young people from our universities. All 26 universities are here. These are young people from TVET colleges. All 50 TVET colleges are here. These are young people from schools. They call themselves YPAs. They are youths. They're all here. They are youth from communities. Some have jobs. Some have no jobs. Some are looking for jobs. Some are groundbreakers from Love Life. Some are soul buddies. And most of us are HIV/AIDS peer educators. Some are activators. Some are, you have many names. I'm so sorry if I'm forgetting. You are Ekurhuleni district. You are Itiqueni district. You are Buffalo City here. You are Nelson Mandela Metropolitan. You are City of Joburg, City of Tshwane, and many more. Some of you are from Waterberg. Some of you are from Alexandra. Some of you are from Soweto. Some of you from Kailicha. Some of you from Zwelicha. But thank you. You are real South Africans. You are the real unsung heroes of South Africa who every day fight HIV/AIDS, every day do youth empowerment, do gender empowerment. Some of you are LGBTI and engage on LGBTI. Some of you fight alcohol and drugs. As drugs, they fight as health promoters. You are our champions. When I used to travel South Africa and I used to travel universities and TVETs, most of you used to tell us that this World AIDS Conference happens in Durban ICC. This South African AIDS Conference happens in Durban ICC. But it's so expensive. And they all talk about youth because the epidemic is surrounded for youth or is surrounded at youth. Over 2,000 young girls become HIV infected every week in South Africa. And over 50% of young people across the globe become HIV in Southern Africa. When the infections are in South Africa, where the challenges are in youth, they are not allowed to come in. So we made it free for you. Be possible that these young people today will speak. So my request to all the policymakers today who have come here in big numbers, to the politicians, to the government, to civil society, let's listen to you this time. Let's engage you, let's understand from you. And if you speak, we listen, and then we engage. I'm very thankful to the Deputy Minister under whose leadership this is possible. And I'm very thankful to the Deputy President who will be coming tomorrow to engage live in front of you, with you. And he wants to talk to you. He wants to listen to you. Be bold, be brave, and discuss whatever you want to discuss. No boundaries, no questions. Your challenge, and we answer. My request through the media, who's come in big numbers, and I know thanks to the guardians, because it's their responsibility too. Government will do, civil societies will do, but the parents and guardians' role has to do. So I welcome all of you on behalf of HE/AIDS. It's not HE/AIDS, it's HE/AIDS, please. It's higher education and training, and higher education must lead. Because any national challenge in the world, an educated South African will transform South Africa. And that's the message. You should change South Africa from your families. Go and talk to your children, your brothers, your sisters in the dining table when you go back and tell them what is youth challenge, what is HIV, and what it means to wear a condom. You are the real South Africans if South Africa has to fight any national challenge. So thank you, my brave soldiers. Thank you, the real unsung heroes. I love you. But before I go, I would like to invite Esther. Africa lost a great hero just this week. Somebody who gave Africa a lot of energy. Well, before I speak about him, I would request Esther to explain what I'm addressing at this moment.
Deputy Minister, all protocol observed, and young people, Sanibonani, I stand here sad inside, but happy to see all of you out here. On Sunday, June the 4th, there was a man, young at heart, a father, a grandfather. This man was a champion for women, young people, especially the girl child. There's one thing he told me the last time he was in South Africa to attend the AU summit. He said, South Africa has got a large population of young people. We must do a lot more than we're doing for them. And I said, yes, sir, we will do it. And a few weeks ago, Ramnik, when we mentioned that we were having the higher education program for AIDS was holding a national youth conference, the first of its kind. The one thing he said is, make sure that the South Africa government, DM, invests more in the youth bulge. And we are doing exactly that. Sadly, he had asked for feedback after the conference. However, on Sunday night, just going to midnight, while watching television in his home, watching the news, he just passed away quietly and peacefully, just sitting up. I'd like us to remember Dr. Babatunde Oshotemi, who has been the executive director of United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA. Many of the young people have met him in various forums, regionally and in New York at the General Assembly. And I'm sure wherever he is watching us today, he is smiling down and saying, who could imagine that so many young people could come together to have their voices heard? I'd like us to stand up and just give him a moment of silence. Thank you very much, Siyabonga Kakulu.
Thank you, Esther. And Esther also reminded me that I must thank people who have made it possible. Started with just $500,000 in our pocket and then nothing else with us. WHO, Department of Health, Presidency, PEFA, UNFPA, United Nations Women, and many more who have helped us to get these things together. As we write history, I wanted this history to be written through a person. I have heard her in 2012 in her story, and she touched me. And I just thought it's important, when this idea started in 2012, I bring the person who brought this idea to me. Faith, please can you come up and take this forward for us? Thank you.
Molweni, ninjani? Ndikhona nam. Molweni abantu abadala. So ndizacela namhlanje ukushare istory sam nani. Ndivumelekile? Ndingashare. Ndiyabulela. They can't. Aninibona apha phansi? Ndikhwele stage. I live in Zenzele. I'm sure that most of you drive past my neighborhood, but never really pause to think what it would be like living in a house literally held together by the grace of God. In the summer, it gets really hot. And in the winter, well, let's just say it ain't a walk in a park. In spring, rains come, and the rain causes everything to be damp. And the stench becomes part of you. Yazi, my favorite, is going to the toilet at night in the middle of winter. Pitch black everywhere. You do not even think of the izinyoka hiding around the corner or the insects that you only see in horror movies. All you think about is the cold and the acrid smell of smoke that grips your throat like a vice and suffocates you. Yazi abantu often think that Tina, people who live in the township, live together. Some sokolo, they say. That is not true. People in the township live in constant fear of losing the little bit of money they have made from selling garbage from the dumps. No food to eat, no water, no electricity, eviction. I live no mama and 6 brothers and sisters. We were 7 siblings, but Umeri uye wasweleka. Yazi, I remember that day. I was so excited. Danvuyile kakhulu. I remember I was finishing off my matric year, and the letter had come. I was going to go to Wits University. I was accepted to go and study medicine. Yazi, that letter didn't only come iyodwa. It was accompanied by another letter that said I had received a bursary, a full bursary. Le bursary le was going to pay for your accommodation yam, was even going to pay for ifizizam full on. I was so excited. I remember as that day, as I got on the taxi, and the taxi was moving forward, my dreams moved forward as well. I could see myself as that qualified doctor. Yazi, not only that, but I could finally see myself mthengela umama ikhaya. Ikhaya elingayenziwanga ngamazenke. Ikhaya apho imvula ingangeni khona. Not only that, but I could also see myself finally ndibonga ndithi yes uNkulunkulu wami ndingena ekhaya ndithenge ikrosa, where we would never have to be hungry again. Yes, I was so excited, and ndiyakhumbula ndandihleli ewindweni yeteksi, and I could just see myself qualified as la doctor lawyer. I couldn't wait to get home. Ukuchazela umama uba impilo yethu was finally going to change. Yes, ndandizixelele ndithe finally education was the key to free me from esisimo esindandikuso. Ndiyakhumbula elo langelo, as I got off the taxi, and turned towards my house. There was smoke everywhere. This feeling of horror paralyzed me. I could not get to the house fast enough. I remember ndibona umama aphethe uMary ezandleni zakhe. She had burnt and died. It was the gangsters that had caused the fire because of ubhuti wami owayetya drugs and abakolota. Yazi, elo langa elo ndangakwazi kwenza nix, ndandimile nje. Ndiyakhumbula ndicinga ukuthi lamaphupha nawo andikwazi kuyoyenza lamaphupho ngokufuneka ndenze sure ukuba sinekhaya esihlala kuzo. Ndiyakhumbula as I watched the smokes of my burnt down home disappear into the thin air, so did the dreams that I had. Kodwa umama, being the woman that she is, wathi nomonde uzawahamba uyofunda. Ndandingayazi uba bazawuhlala phi bona kodwa ndahamba ngoba umama wayendithumile athi ndihambe ndiyofunda. Ndiyakhumbula ndithi nale mali le ndandiyiphethe yebhesari ndikhumbula ndithi mama I think ithathe le endizayidlayo ithathe ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi wenzeni. Ndikhumbula futhi ndizixele ndithi Nomonde isimo sasekhaya uyasibona. I remember telling myself that me and my smart mind was all I needed to survive in university. I said, I will get those A's. I will finally qualify and become the doctor that I need to come. But as I entered university, I was faced with a canvas of struggles. In a lecture room, I was told by isilungu sam was not articulate enough. Impahla zam were not labeled enough. Haike look unsighted inokuyithetha. The girls in my residency bebesoloko bazibuza ukuthi utheni unxiba impahla ozinxibayo. Why must you always look like a plus girl, Nabacho? Baben buzba inwele zam zitheni zingabi up to date. And not only that, meben buzba itheni impahla lenayo disoloko ndirepeat. Danzayithatha phi? Yonke impahla endandinayo yayichile ekhaya. But amidst all those struggles, I met Ujo. Ujo was 53. Iman, before you even judge Ujo, Iman qala. Ujo kwawumuntu oqala wokungiqalela ukuba I'm beautiful. Ujo kwakuwumuntu oqala who truly cared for me. At least kwakuyinto ndandiyibelieve ba Ujo uyanikhathalela. Ujo was nothing like the guys that used to come and fetch girls outside my residence with their fancy cars. Ujo, the way wayenikhathalela ngakhona, ndikhumbula month in and month out, Ujo wayeza eres anthathe andambise siye shopping sithenge ukutya, wayengathengeli mina qha ukutya. Ujo wayethi masambe sithengele nakokweni. Sasihamba sisokokutyoku ekhaya. Not only that, Ujo wayenza sure ba impahla endiyinxibayo nam ndikwazi ukujongakela njengamantombazana phakathi kwe-residence yam. Yazi ndiyakhumbula ndandimthandile uJo nafuthi ndimthembile kakhulu. And after a few months mna noJo sidibene sisebenza sonke. Ndiyakhumbula kube nexesha apha uJo wanicela uba I must go out on a date with him. Davuma, because it was my first time to be taken out on any date. Ndiyakhumbula that night mna, when I dressed up in my residency, ndiyakhumbula ndizixelele ukuthi I'm willing to go all the way noJo ngoba ndandithembile ukuthi uyandithanda. Ndiyakhumbula wandisa kwenye indawo ebizwa iClifton Hotel. Nangichazela ezinye intombi in the residence, they said, hayi ke, this is good. Ndiyakhumbula that night ndandihleli noJo. Ukutya was beautiful. Yonke into happened out in the stars. Wandithengela nefone. Not only that, uJoe wayengithengele nenye necklace enhle. Ndandivuyile kakhulu and futhi ndandimthanda. Njengoba ndisitsho ukuthi imaniqala before ninjaja. Ndiyakhumbula that day, yonke into was beautiful for mna. It was my first time. I had never been out on any date. uJoe wayesoloko andixelela uba ndimhle njani. And ndiyakhumbula futhi nakandithatha siya kuloo ndawo yethu. It was my first time. My first time to kiss. My first time yokuthi ndidibane nomuntu oyindoda. Ndandivuyile kakhulu. And I remember from ndandijabulile ndandibuyela e-residence the next day. Ndiyakhumbula ndimele i-phone call yakaJoe. Mna noJoe, we had this thing. I didn't call him, he called me, and I was okay with that because often I thought uJoe is the one that's doing many things for me, so it didn't bother me. And in ndiyakhumbula that day, but in this cut a short is a story. Okay. Okay. Sendiyagqiba. Ndiyasithetha. Ndiyakhumbula that day ndamela uJoe the next day ukuthi andifowunele. uJoe wayesoloko andifowunela ngo8:30 oko. Kodwa this time uJoe didn't call. And in that to myself, perhaps it's okay angandifoneli. It's because wayemele ukuthi kube ukwi-meeting or something. Ndazixelela njalo nami because ndandiyibelieve. And so ndamela the next day. The next day uJoe futhi khangafone. And iday yagqitha yaba ziveki. Iveki zagqitha zaba imonth. uJoe khangafone. And not only that, ndiyakhumbula yayindidla kakhulu lento ngaphakathi. Ndandizibuza ukuthi kuza njani uNkulunkulu wami lo muntu endimfumeneyo endicinga uba uyandikhathalela. Ondicinga uba uzakwazi ukunincedisa kwesi simo esendandikuso se-university. Ndiyakhumbula i-roommate yami i-insister ithi uzawuhamba uye e-clinic uhambe uyotesta. Ndandimbuza ukuthi ndizatesta ntoni. Wathi uzawuhamba uyotesta. Ndahamba ndayotesta. Kodwa ndandizibuza ukuthi yenzeka kanjani lento le yokuthi umuntu adibane nomuntu kokuqala. Kwakuyixesha lakhe lokuqala. Ndandiqala ukuthi ndiyazi nokuthi ukuba nendoda kunjani. Kodwa kokuqala ndafumana esi sifo esi. Ndizayiyeka apha esi story. Ndiyabulela.
Thank you, Faith. For those who do not know Faith, thank you, Faith. Thank you, Faith. For those who do not know Faith, Faith is the face of.
Faith is an MA. She holds a degree in drama therapy. She's a student. She just graduated from Wits University and the Drama for Life. She's a very dear friend of mine, and Mawe too as well. But she's a young woman who has just shared a lot in one story, a lot of other young women's stories. So once again, Masim Komenutano, we may just celebrate Faith for that strength.
Thank you so much, Faith. And we are so honored today, pardon me, we are so honored today because we have Umama Wetu, the mother of South Africa, the First Lady. She's among us. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to Umama Wetu on the June, the Youth Month. Thank you, Mama Utobeka Dumazuma, for honoring us on this big month of ours.
Siyabonga mama. I have one request. Ngicela mengikhula ngifane nawe. Nje ubuhle bungaka. Yes. So Mawe, there is something, well, two things. Where is that phone of yours? Phone yakho, please. Yes. So young people, do we all have our phones with us?
Can you show your phones?
All
Can you
right.
show your phones? Quickly. Let me tell you something. One,
Yes.
please, with your phone, don't take pictures with the flash because we are currently internationally broadcast. So it's disturbing us.
Yes.
But we need to do something with our phones.
All right.
Can give us that.
Nyakuv.
So this is the phone that we're currently going to
Okay,
use.
okay.
Can I also see again your phones in agreement that you're not going to put a flash and taking pictures? Can you show again? Good. The next step is that we are having hashtags, Zandi.
We have two hashtags. Hashtag number one is youth, and the second hashtag is hate conference.
Okay. It's youth speakers.
Yes.
And then the second one is hate conference.
Conference.
I want us to all now take off our phones. You are young, you are old, we need to take it.
Fast,
Let's
fast, fast.
break the social media.
Yes.
So we need to go either to
Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter.
tweets.
Let's do it, people.
And Mawe, can I say? No. Okay,
we're gonna give you, we have a free Wi-Fi. We have a free Wi-Fi.
Okay, Ukolo. Clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me. So Ukolo, we have Wi-Fi, and we are aware that the one on your registration packs is not correct. So we have Wi-Fi. You will choose Durban ICC Wi-Fi and the password. Do you want the password? 5 rand each. I'm joking. The password is convention with a capital letter C1. Convention 1. So we sorted we are going to be connected. All right. Yeah.
So let's give you time to connect a little bit later.
Yes.
But you know what? I think there's one thing we didn't mention this morning before we called the check. What is that? Is that a finger?
It's a finger. First things first.
Who knows first thing first in this room? Okay. I'm
I'm a peer educated well, but no one seems to know
Knows
about
first thing first.
Okay, we don't know if we have peer educated.
So do you know first thing first?
Okay.
No, it's not enough. Do you know first things first? Good. You know what? First thing first. I believe that if we had first things first in our life, faith was going to come in this stage and tell a different story.
That's correct.
If we had a first thing first, long time in our life, I doubt that many young people will fall for John.
Yes.
I believe today that if we had first things first long time ago, today we will have ambassadors, that we call them peer educators, that were going to go to faith and say, Faith, we see your road, but it might not be faith enough. So first thing first brought us here. It's a dream that took us to this room today. I want us to say, first things first is my education. Can we say that? First things first is my education.
And Mawe, just to wrap up, because Mawe said earlier, young people will talk a lot. But first thing first is a campaign that as HE8 we host in different universities. So Dr. Ramnik has already spoken about that. We're working in 26 universities. The idea or the aim rather is to bring a comprehensive service to students. That if you need to go to the clinic, oftentimes we don't use private clinics, most of us here. We use public service, né? And you find that you have to wait for hours. So through First Things First, we try and mobilize as many service providers to come and offer services to students and awareness around issues of alcohol and drug abuse, sexual gender-based violence, of course, HIV and AIDS, LGBTI issues, women empowerment and men empowerment. And we also offer testing services, but we're not only talking HIV anymore, we're talking screening, your BP, all those things to know, we are for a pap smear as a young woman who's sexually active. So that's what First Things First is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now let me call upon the chairperson of Hate Conference. It's Dr. Pile.
Yes.
Dr. Pile, quickly, in a minute. We all know that young people between the ages of 15 to 24 in South Africa are having a high HIV prevalence. We also know that currently the leading province is KZN, the next to us in Mpumalanga, and so on. So, Dr. Pile, let me give it to you as the chair of the conference. Hopefully, you understand that that is the reason that we have 15 to 24 and beyond that age in this room today. Over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Viva the youth of South Africa, viva! Viva! Viva the youth of South Africa, viva! The Deputy Minister Manana, our First Lady, Tobeka Madiba Zuma, our distinguished guests, and the youth of South Africa. Good morning. I have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm not sure if it's going to show, but after Faith's story, I'm sure you don't want to see my PowerPoint presentation. But if we can bring it up, I'll show it anyway. Let me first thank Ramnik and the team of Higher Education AIDS. They have done a marvelous job of bringing us all here, and I think they deserve a warm round of applause. On behalf of the conference organizers, I'd also like to thank all of our sponsors. There have been many sponsors who have made it possible to really sponsor a lot of young people to attend this conference who may otherwise not have been able to attend it. So thank you very much to all of our sponsors. I see my PowerPoint presentation is still not coming up, and I think maybe I should just dispense with it and say a few things in introducing the conference. When Ramnik and I were discussing the need for this conference and our hopes for this conference, we certainly did not realize that it would turn out to be such a both task, but also such a successful gathering of young people. So I would like to thank the young people for coming to this conference. Thank you very much. We have high hopes. We have very high hopes for this conference. As the program directors have said, the youth of this country are challenged on a number of fronts. I am quite sure that when I was as young as you were, which was not that long ago, by the way, I did not have as many challenges as you have today. But I am equally sure that since the dawn of our democracy, I did not have as many opportunities as you have today. So I think that the struggle for freedom in the country has given the youth of today enormous opportunities as well as enormous challenges and hope. What do we hope for this conference? We hope that this conference will not only bring together the youth of the country, but also to give the youth an opportunity to share their hopes, their aspirations, their challenges, but mostly what they think they can do to be the leaders, not of tomorrow, but of today. We want the leadership of this country to be the youth of today, not only the youth of the future. So the hope for the conference is for us to hear, and as Ramnik said, for the policymakers and the politicians to hear, what the youth are going to do to make this country even greater than we are today. That's the challenge for us in the next couple of days, and I'm sure that collectively we will rise to the challenge. We will really be able to evaluate our success in bringing us here together, our success in gathering together, at the end of this conference, when we hear what the solutions to the many challenges the youth have are. One of the key challenges, of course, is HIV and AIDS. We do know that every week in our country, around 2,000 young women between the ages of 15 and 24 acquire HIV. Now, that is an unprecedented number which cannot be allowed to continue. We also know that somewhere between 60 and 70,000 young people below the age of 18, starting from about 12 years of age, deliver babies in the public health sector every year. That is too many young people becoming parents when they are not ready to become young parents. We also know that young people, and young women in particular, are subjected to significant levels of sexual and gender-based violence in our country. That cannot be allowed to continue. We also know that many young people drop out of school before matric every year. That cannot be allowed to continue. We also know that many young people, even after they graduate from universities, struggle to get employment. That cannot continue to happen. So there are many challenges, but as I said, we are looking to the youth, you in the audience and people at home, to get us on the road to becoming not only a better South Africa, but a more caring South Africa. That is our challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jorgen, for that short and sweet opening. And the question that was posed, what are you as a young person going to do to make South Africa a better country? I think we can all answer it differently, but we can respond to it. And linking to the next speaker, a young woman, I think if you can just look up here, she's representing. Andile, she's currently doing her master's degree in psychology at Wits University. She's also the co-chair of the conference. So may you please help me welcome Andile Mtombeni.
Yes, I am from Wits, but I'm not colonized, I can assure you that. Good morning, fellow conference delegates. I have a speech. Molweni, Sanbonani, Dumelang, hey. First of all, I would like to thank the conference organizers and the masterminds for inviting me to be part of this great initiative for our generation. I would also like to thank the conference organizers for successfully organizing this conference and getting us all here this morning in one piece. I hope everyone is in one piece. If anyone is broken, please let us know. I would like to also congratulate the HAIDS team. The HAIDS team. I've been corrected. The HAIDS team under the leadership of Dr. Ramnik for having this vision and making it come to life. I think they deserve a round of applause, but you've already done that. And finally, I would like to thank you all, our delegates, for rising and coming out in numbers in support for this vision. Without you, the conference would have not been possible. It is with great pleasure that I stand here before you, welcoming you to this first ever HAIDS National Youth Conference. A conference that is aimed at bridging the gap between young people's voices and policymakers and other decision-making bodies in this country, bridging the gap between health and higher education sector. This is a conference that is aimed at engaging the voices of the youth, providing us with a platform to ask the difficult questions. Think of possible solutions and outcomes to the many challenges that we face. This is not a conference that is aimed at engaging HIV issues only, but rather is aimed at addressing the multifaceted concerns of young people in this country. including higher education, i.e. fees must fall. Poverty, GBV, unemployment. Recently we heard that unemployment is now sitting at 27.7%, which is a concern for most of us who are in universities or TVET colleges, because then we worry when we get our degrees, where will we go? And many other issues that we face. This is an opportunity for us as young people to actively participate in the fight against HIV and AIDS, to think of solutions to the high incidence of HIV amongst young black women. I am not going to go into details on the numbers or the latest statistics of the challenges we faced in this country. You will get the opportunity to hear all that through the track presentations that you will attend. I am, however, here to tell you that I myself am standing in front of you today because I did ask the difficult questions that others may be chicken scared to ask. Thus, don't be afraid to ask in this question. Let the presenters sweat by the difficult questions you ask them. We as the youth of South Africa are not passive, but we are an active voice. Let us use this platform to critically engage in the important matters that affect us and critically think and suggest possible way forward. Do not be shy to speak up. Let your voices be heard. If English intimidates you or runs away from you like it does me sometimes, then don't be shy to ask your questions or make comments in the language that you're comfortable with. No one is here to judge you. There is no right nor wrong answer here. This is not an exam. Our Lama marks. We are here to learn, but also to educate. And the only way to do so is when we speak up. Let us also remember to respect one another and each other's rights when in this space. This is a relay. We are in the game of a relay. We all know the relay race, right? We pass the baton from one generation to another. And it is time for the old people sitting next to you to pass the baton on. It's a process. If you're sitting next to an old person, tell them that it's time. It's time. We are at war. The battlefields of the minds. It is up to us to intellectually challenge and win this battle. This is an intellectual revolution. Our parents fought and managed to obtain for us half the freedom. It is now up to us to take on from where they left and face the enemy head on. We are the lucky and privileged ones to be in institutions of higher learning. We need to set up our children for success. It is too late for us, but it is not too late for our future generations. We are the parents for tomorrow. It is up to us to give and provide our children some privilege. However, we need to build that foundation today. Our families have been broken, children growing up without their fathers. We lost a sense of culture as a people, but we do not dismay. We have to rebuild. Our government is sometimes like an unreliable boyfriend or girlfriend. 1 minute the boyfriend is making you happy, and the next moment it's disappointing you. Needless to say, when they disappoint us, we need to be able to stand on our own and carry on this battle of the minds. Higher education is very important. I encourage you all to stay at school by all means necessary. If you have a certificate, aim for a diploma. If you have a diploma, aim for a degree next. If you have a degree, aim for honors. Then masters. The buck doesn't stop until PhD level. Education is the key to development. It is the key to economic emancipation. Education opens doors for you. I believe that. Again, we are in an intellectual revolution. If you look at the people behind this conference, for example, it's Dr. Ramnik, Dr. Pillay, Dr. And so hell, even the Deputy Minister of Higher Education himself is leading by example and collecting degrees for himself. So believe me when I say education is the key. We need to be the knowledge producers for tomorrow and today. We need to be the innovators. Our degrees must produce scientists that come up with the cure for AIDS in this country. The scientist to come up with the cure for AIDS in this country is sitting in this room. We will not sit and wait for the global north to come at our rescue always. Do something for others with your degree. Don't just get a degree for the mere idea of getting a house, a car, paying back NSFAS and black tax. Those are all good things. But envision more, envision development for this country. Emancipated by you through your degree. Be an innovator, be a theorist, aim to leave a legacy for your people. Let's not only be social media activists, but let's be active activists. Let's be advocates in our different corners and spheres. There is so much great knowledge and discussions to look forward to. Your programs are packed with richness. Go and indulge yourselves and take the message back home to your communities, pass on the baton. On that note, I would like to once again thank everyone for coming and ensuring that this vision that has been started by Dr. Ramnik comes to fruition. Enjoy the conference, network, make lifetime friendships, learn and teach. And I end with
Thank you, Andile. Next, we'll then introduce the Honorable. I always think he looks handsome. Don't you all think he looks handsome? He's representing that look. Ne? If you may allow me, we are doing this, but we're also human beings. Is it fine? Can I introduce the Honorable Deputy Minister, Mr. Mtutuzi Manana? Thank you, ma'am.
Aye, bandabacha, aye. Aye, bandabacha, aye. Well, thank you very much, program directors, conference chair, Dr. Jorgen Pillay, and co-chair, Ms. Andile Mtombeni, our First Lady, Umama Tobeka Madiba Zuma, and head delegation, HATE's director, and organizer of this conference, Dr. Ramnik Kalwalia, UNFPA country director, Dr. Esther Muya, UN Women here represented by Ms. Kutugu Shongwe and other UN regional heads, the Deputy Chairperson of the South African National AIDS Council, Ms. Steve Letsike, senior government officials, university and TVET college leaders and their representatives, development partners and NGOs, distinguished guests and HATE's private and government partners, youth leaders from a range of entities and organizations, members of the media, and of course, young delegates from universities, TVET colleges, from schools, and of course our out-of-school youth for whom this conference has been organized. Good morning. Sanbonani, Molweni, Goeiemorgen, Lochani. Great. Well, it is a profound honor for me to be officially opening the so well-attended HATE's National Youth Conference this morning. As the first of its kind, this conference is an important milestone, not only for the higher education and training sector, but for the whole country, because never before have we had the opportunity to bring together youth from schools, universities, colleges, and out-of-school youth to share their experiences of working in the field of HIV and discuss their challenges and best practices. I am proud to be standing in front of you today to affirm that it is indeed the higher education and training sector that is putting into practice the vision of bringing our young people together to discuss very pertinent issues that affect them. Esteemed delegates, although we've come a long way as a country, but we must admit that South Africa still has deep social problems that we need to address openly and eventually overcome. I am constantly confronted with these in my line of work and often reminded of the intersectionality of the issues that our young people are facing. The most pressing challenge is probably the one of poverty. As you may be aware, a significant number of students come from impoverished families and communities. Many of our female students find themselves in financially unstable situations, having to balance their tuition fees for their education, while also trying to find funds to cover their accommodation and other living expenses. These students often take care of their families, as a large number of them come from vulnerable families, but also have to attend college and university. Many of them are first-time entrants to universities and colleges in their families, but as well, they become the first ones to obtain either university or a college qualification. So there is immense pressure on them, pressures which lead to female students in particular to engage in sex work or relationships with older men in order to cover their study fees and living expenses. We often hear about the so-called blessers or sugar daddies in the news, and we see it happening in our communities. We see it happening at our campuses, where older men would come with their very expensive cars to pre-own our young female students, of course taking advantage of their socio-economic vulnerabilities. So it is happening, and it is something that we have to confront and deal with more decisively. The fact that we shy away from talking about these problems in our society because they make us feel so uncomfortable leaves our female students in relationships of dependence on men that often lead to young women feeling disempowered to negotiate condom use and take care of their own health. So because we don't talk about these things, our female students are not as empowered to actually challenge these older men or even persuade them to actually use a condom, because there's so much dominance. When a person has financial power over the other, he then tends to want to dominate. And as a result, female students become so vulnerable. So there is no room to negotiate for condom use. And that's when the problem starts. Colleagues, we have to acknowledge that the 2016 nationwide student protests on issues of gender-based violence in South Africa have really called for action and leadership. In October 2016, I directed Hayes to work on establishing a technical task team which will investigate ways of addressing issues of gender-based violence in the higher education and training sector, and also look at the possibility of developing a policy framework that aims to provide practical guidelines for all our universities and colleges on the prevention of gender-based violence at all higher learning institutions. Members of the technical task team are in attendance at this conference, and they will be able to share some insight on the work they are doing in this area of gender-based violence. Esteemed delegates, I would like us to acknowledge that there are also a number of other difficult and important social issues in our sector that we need to address jointly. Besides the issues I've mentioned, or the issues that we all know of transactional sex, gender-based violence, and financial struggles of our students, we need to look at the challenges of drug and alcohol abuse, stigma and discrimination against people living with HIV and members of the LGBTI community, as well as the lack of youth-friendly services in some of our healthcare centers and clinics, amongst many other things. These social drivers make our youth enormously vulnerable to HIV, TB, and sexually transmitted infections. And this is why we need to look at HIV as a social problem and a challenge that needs all of our commitment. The HATES program is built on the belief that it is our empowered and educated youth that will bring about change in this country, especially when it comes to lowering the rate of new HIV infections. It is for this reason that we thought we should organize this conference as an opportunity to bring together various government departments, academics, young people from all walks of life to build on our experiences and lessons, and thereby find new ways to deal with issues of HIV and social drivers of the pandemic. Of course, what makes this conference unique is that it does not only focus on biomedical research and new innovations in the field of HIV testing, treatment, and care, but has a specific focus on the social and structural drivers of the pandemic. Our national and international presenters and workshop facilitators will look at emerging good practices in the fields of peer education and community engagement programs, as well as academic initiatives and curricula, ethics, and protection of human rights. This conference is expected specifically to look at issues of stigma and discrimination of marginalized groups and the LGBTI community, and the use of modern technologies and interactive methodologies such as theater, radio drama, and social media to address challenges of human rights and social justice. The next 2.5 days should be a learning curve for all of us. It is our academics and political leaders that should first and foremost listen to our youth. But our young people should equally give opportunity to listen to those who are policymakers as they outline some of the experiences and lessons learned over the years. As we gather here today, we want to listen to our young people. Our young people must be very critical, they must engage their leaders, they must tell their leaders what it is that they think should be done in order to resolve the many challenges that confront us. I wish to remind all of you that the next 2.5 days really present an opportunity for you to raise your voices. To raise your voices about the social challenges and injustices that you face every day. To discuss your dreams, your visions, and ideas, and as I said earlier, to critically engage your leaders. We are grateful that our country's Deputy President who's also the chairperson of the South African National AIDS Council, Mr. Ramaphosa, will be joining us tomorrow. And he has committed to an open conversation with our youth. He wants to listen to you. He wants to be engaged. He wants to hear what young people think about their future. So the slogan that says, "Nothing about us without us," is finding more resonance in this case. Esteemed delegates, let me acknowledge the Higher Education and Training HIV/AIDS program, HAIDS, and its leadership for really organizing this conference. As we know, this program, the HAIDS program, was designed to eradicate the impact of HIV, STIs, TB, and also aiming to strengthen general health and wellness issues in the higher education and training sector. As part of an increasingly comprehensive HIV, TB, STIs, and other healthcare and support mitigation programs in the post-school education and training sector, HAIDS currently implements various comprehensive health, wellness, and prevention projects and programs in partnership, of course, with a range of strategic public and private role players. We're incredibly proud of the success of this unique program, for it has shown that dedication and leadership can lead to concrete results. In 2016 alone, the HAIDS First Things First HIV counseling, testing, and general health and wellness program offered more than 165,000 students the opportunity to participate in testing and screening for HIV, TB, sexually transmitted infections, and general health and wellness. Further to this, over 1,500 academics and university and TVET college staff underwent training in the curriculum program, whilst over 192 campus and community radio station journalists have participated in the unique HAIDS Future Beats radio and social media program, reaching more than 720,000 young people in 6 provinces of South Africa with regular HIV prevention programs. It is now 16 years since the HAIDS program was established in the higher education sector. As South Africa's nationally coordinated, comprehensive, and large-scale effort designed to develop and strengthen the capacity, the systems, and the structures of all our public universities. And for the past 2 years, our public colleges have become part of this program. Being a leading HIV prevention program in the country, I believe HAIDS is perfectly equipped to lead this first National Youth Conference, and we congratulate you for this. On behalf of our ministry, the Ministry of Higher Education and Training, I wish all of you a fruitful conference. You must have robust discussions, honest discussions, which will guide us on how we can go about addressing some of these presenting challenges. Coming out of this conference must be some new, innovative, and inspiring ideas. Young people have gathered, so you should not wander about on the beach and do all of those things. There will be time for that, I'm sure, Dr. Lwale, so that our young people can really stretch, go to the beach, but at least a bulk of the work must happen here. Discussing, trying to find lasting solutions to the many challenges that I've outlined. So it is interesting that indeed we have all come here in numbers, and we thank you because you could have otherwise attended many other things, but you came here. Yes, I've seen it. But you have come here to really engage amongst yourselves, but engage sector leaders as well on these and other challenges. Colleagues, once again, to the organizers of the conference, thank you very much. It could not have been easy. Ngiyathemba ningishayela ukuthi ngiyohlala phansi. Ngingayivala i-conference ngingakayivuli. On that note, it is with utmost privilege and honor to declare this first Haights National Youth Conference officially opened. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DM. Thank you for addressing us this morning. We feel privileged to be sitting here today. Let's quickly continue, ladies and gentlemen. Let me now call upon, and she's looking at me. We call her Steve Litsike. I might not pronounce it very well. Steve is currently the deputy chairperson of SANAC, and I've been told that you are re-elected. And to continue with that, we know, Steve, that you are an activist, an LGBTI activist, a gender equality activist, you are a human rights activist. Come over, Steve. Give you the honor.
Sanbonani. Good morning. Hello, eThekwini, hello. Viva HEAIDS, viva. Amandla. Matla. Program Director, thank you so much for your kind words. Conference chairpersons, Dr. Pile and Ms. Mutembi, Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Honorable Manana, Director and Head of HEAIDS Program, Dr. Ramnik, HEAIDS board members, UNFPA Director, Dr. Mula, UN Women Director, Dr. Anne Shongwe, Investi South Africa, CEO, Dr. Professor Baba, First Lady, Mrs. Tobeka Madiba Zuma, representative of government, of civil society sectors, people living with HIV, young people, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate the HEAIDS team that is led by Dr. Aluwalia, and most importantly, the conference organizers for this important gathering. It is the first of its kind, and we must applaud the team for putting this together. Higher education is just but one of the 18 sectors in South African National AIDS Council. The National AIDS Council that is led by our chairperson, whom is the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. Higher education represents over 2 million young South Africans in this structure of SANEC. And I wish to commend you in the efforts of keeping the agenda on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa has just recently launched the National Strategic Plan 2017-2022 on HIV, TB, and STI, which is a very important plan that guides the country on its approach and commitment to help achieve the goals as set in the NSP. The SANEC community has invested in robust consultations and processes towards developing this fourth generation of the NSP. And as a result, SANEC is charged with new responsibilities that is clearly guided and that requires a functional and accountable councils at all levels. And I'm hoping as young people, we go in each ward, in each municipality, in each district, in each province, to represent young people in the higher education in our own sectors. Whether you are gay, lesbian, straight, bisexual, it doesn't matter. All sectors are represented, and you must represent men, women, people with disability, people living with HIV in these spaces. Young people are everywhere, and young people are diverse. And most importantly, they are the generation of today that will take this country forward. In SANEC, we speak through the National Strategic Plan. So much work has been done in the past, and so much work is still to be done for today and tomorrow. And it will require that as young people, and of course we've got young people, and we've got young people at heart. But it will require that we develop initiatives and innovations that addresses the challenges that we are faced with. It is evident that we have progress that we've seen in South Africa in the past. We've seen the reduction of new infections. We've seen the reduction of maternal mortalities, but we must do more because we are confronted by so many issues. Our Deputy Minister and many of the speakers here made reference to some of the challenges. Every week, we have over 2,000 new infections amongst girls aged 15 to 24. Friends, this is unacceptable. Because of that cohort, that means we have 90,000 new HIV infections per year. It is unacceptable. But we all know that these very same young people don't infect themselves. It is older men that the Deputy Minister made reference to. I call them the 4 M's. They are macho, they are mobile, and they are men with money. We must act swiftly. They must leave our sisters, our daughters alone. And I speak also as a parent of a girl child, that we worry every day what will happen next and who is next. So we must challenge that. The NSP, which is really our document, has got 5 principles that we need to take in consideration. 1, we need evidence. All programs in our country, in our communities, whether it's anecdotal or data that is collected, we must produce evidence. And this is really around the response of HIV, TB, and STI. We must address the human rights based in our programming. The national response is grounded in the commitment to protect and promote the human rights as enshrined in our Constitution. We must also think about the multisectorality of our response. Government can't do it alone without us as civil society. Government can't do it alone without you and I in our own spaces. We also must see that private sector is involved and development partners are also contributing to the response. And the 4th principle, is that our response must be people-centered. People living with HIV, TB, or STI, as well as household and communities affected by this epidemic, are the touchstone by which our actions of HIV, TB, and STI must be judged. The national response is committed to adhere to these principles of greater involvement of people living with HIV. Inclusive and participation of everyone is very key as we call for that multisectorality. Friends, it is 2017. The clock is ticking on the 2020 prevention agenda. Again, the clock is ticking on the 2030 ambition to end HIV and TB as a public health threat is around the corner. Everything we do requires that we upscale our interventions, we focus on the return on investment, and we really become more vigilant in what we do. We reach out to those groups and people who are left behind and address stigma and discrimination in our communities. Let communities be involved in our response from the beginning to the end, a true partnership and not as tokens. This will be a start of a fresh collective and political momentum towards ending HIV, TB, and STIs. This can be achieved, and thank you so much to the higher education team that has pulled this together. Youth matters, we must take charge. Thank you.
Ayaya young people, ayaya? Ayaya young people, ayaya? I'm seeing people are leaving the room, and I'm wondering, because we have a young male with us who is a PH hater, HIV positive, a gay man like me, and proud and unapologetic. So, Sia, please come for 3 minutes and give these people your 3 minutes message. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I'd like to greet you all in the name of He AIDS Program. I would like to acknowledge this conference that we will have our Deputy President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. I'd like also to greet our Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Mr. Mduduzi Manana, and all protocol observed. I grew up in a township called Wamhlanga in Mpumalanga. Amandebela khone khaya? Amandebela khone Durban? I was raised by both my parents, my sisters, and my brothers. I was committed in a relationship as a young man aged 22. My ex-boyfriend called me. And as he called me, he asked me to go and get tested. And when I go to the health facilities, when I got there, likely he was around. Then I was like, honey, don't you want to go don't you want to go into the consultation room with me? He denied. He refused to go in with me. And only to find out that my ex-boyfriend has been cheating on me. So now, I am standing right here in front of you as a young gay man, aged 24, representing Mpumalanga as a whole, in fact, South Africa as a whole. That, let us stand up, guys, let us unite, because it is hard for us, gay people, to approach our our female nurses at our health facilities around our communities. Reason being, you are thinking of how are they going to react. Here you are, you coming in, and there's a sister. You can't even talk about issues that are related to us as male. At the end of the day, I agree that we are all men, but then being gay doesn't necessarily mean I need to wear makeup. Being gay doesn't necessarily mean I need to have a specific wardrobe. But in this case, I would like the Department of Higher Education and the Department of Health to please ascend professional help to all of us, psychological help to all of us, because as a matter of fact, it's not only me who has been affected. There are a lot of people out there, young and passionate about wanting to live a good life and a very long life. So please, step up. this is you. Remember, as we say, first in first, I am saying it begins with you. Ayeye, Gage. Ayeye.
Thank you, Sia. That's so quick. And I know that we pressured you. So maybe while you are trying to read this, you're trying to summarize it and make it quickly. We are also knowing that many of you might want to go and pee a little bit or maybe refresh a little bit and so on. So we have come to our first end of our first session.
Yes, the opening. Officially, the conference is opened, ladies and gentlemen.
But there's one thing we didn't do. We
Yes.
didn't introduce ourselves.
No.
No one knows us yet.
Yes.
So introduce ourselves.
Yes, my name is Veronica Uzandile. For most of you, I've been calling you Veronica. This is Veronica, but I go by the name Za Mkwati. And I'm a program coordinator for KZN, Mpumalanga, Eastern Cape, and Western Cape.
For university sector.
Yes.
And my name is Mawetu Zita. I'm a provincial coordinator for TVET sector in Mpumalanga and Northern Cape. Lastly,
we have two announcements. The wristbands, please, if you have one on, don't remove it because you're going to be using it for the next coming 3 days. But if it happens that you are not registered, can you please go back and make sure that you register? And another announcement is tomorrow's dialogue in the morning with the Deputy President Utati Cyril Ramaphosa. Please arrive at 8:30 because the dialogue is going to start at 9 o'clock. Be advised, it's first come, first serve. So it doesn't matter, Obani, if you are not there at 9 o'clock, we start.
and we are only allowing 1,849, if I'm correct, members. So if you are 1,845, we might not allow you in the room because we don't want anyone to be sitting down or standing tomorrow. And tomorrow is a big day where the Deputy President is saying to young people, talk to me, I am here to listen. So all in all, we want to say thank you to everyone. Another session is going to take place in the next 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, to all the media present. We're going to have an official media briefing in the room on my right-hand side at the back. So if you can follow this delegation for follow-up interviews, please follow myself and the delegates, and we'll be in this room at the back to all the media. Thanks.
Okay. Hello. Sanibonani futhi. Sishilo sathi asikaqedi. So can we just come back for another session? Yes, for another session. Mama usilindile and everybody is talking, everybody is coming out. Can we just come back and then sibe closer because we are fewer now? Is it possible? Siyacela.
Yes. Please WhatsApp, Facebook, your friends, and ask them to come back to the room. We beg you, please. Another interesting session is about to start in a minute, so we need to sit down. Another issue is that lunch packs that we are having are only made for our students from universities and TVET and students that are coming from basic education. If you are a staff and so on, please note that the lunch packs are only made for students. Thank you. And learners.
Please, and then just out of interest, the following people will be speaking in the next session. Dr. Karim from Caprisa, Prof. Ahmed Bawa, the CEO for University of South Africa, Ms. Manditabo Sidibe, the youth speaker from LGBTI, activist in the University of Venda, and lastly Shakira Chonara, the youth speaker from South African Aid Trust. Please, we beg you, we kindly plead with you, may you please be seated as we transition to the next session, because we will break for lunch soon. Thank you.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. May we have you coming back, not going out. Sanbonani. Please, let's get seated. Hello. Where have other people gone to? Please take them, take them. Hello, please don't go away. They're going away. The more we call them, the more they go. Hello, I'm watching you. The deputy minister is not going. He will still be around. The first lady is not going. So you better take it cool. May I have all the speakers for this session to be sitting in front? It is also not yet time for the lunch packs. I'm told the lunch packs would be given to only the students and those of us that are young at heart. Dumela. Who knows Sotho? Okay. Molweni eThekwini molweni. Lochane Mandebele. Dumela mbakhaithu. Macheron. I'm about to start. I'm missing one speaker. Okay, thank you. All right. This is the day for the youth, and I'm missing the youth in here. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning once more. We're left with 2 minutes to be the morning. I need the youth to be inside. It's all about you. It is said nothing about us without us. So it's about you. Do we have some people that can help us to get the people inside? To get the people inside. So let them stop the registration. Yeah. I'm continuing. Yeah. Today's or this weekend's conference, it's all about behavioral change, I want to believe. It's about the way we do things that affects our living, isn't it? And that affects our lifestyle. When we say, away with sugar daddies away, away with blessers away, then it means you have to behave, isn't it? You don't have to take the space of those sugar daddies and blessers. You don't have to be start doing things of old people. You don't have to be doing things that you're not supposed to be doing at the wrong time. So allow me to start with the first plenary session for the day. My name is Helen Ntlatleng. I come from Gauteng. I also come from, somebody said he was from Winterfell. I come from Pretoria too. I'm from Tshwane. I'm going to allow the first speaker to start in order to encourage people to come in, and I wish all the youth could be inside. And let us close the registration because he's not assisting us. I'm going to request to come to the podium Dr. Amot Power, the Chief Executive Officer of University of South Africa, and who's also a board member of USAF. I think the bio is long. I'm not going to be reading bios, but those of us who know him, before he joined USAF, he has been the VC of DUT for a very long time, about 10 years. Oh yeah, quite a long time. That's all of us who know him, and he serves in many boards and many associations. Dr. Bauer, over to you. Professor Bauer.
Yeah, I miss you too. I really miss being at DUT. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I also have a presentation, but I'm not going to use it because it's clearly not an appropriate occasion to give a lecture about universities and so on. So I want to start off by saying 2 or 3 things. The one is I just want to thank the HE8's team for putting on a fantastic show here. This is really the first meeting of its kind in South Africa. And I think that we have to be really proud that we've been able to come together to deal with one of the biggest problems that is facing our society. The second thing I want to say is to thank all the people who've sponsored us for this function. It's very important that businesses and foundations and professions have come together and they've supported us to put this on. And it's very important that we see this as a national project rather than as universities or government and so on. And of course, the most important thing is really to thank you who are here today, because you've taken time out to be here. And that is very important. And we have an old saying, each one teach one. So of course we always depend on this idea that if 1 or 2 people pick up some new ideas, that they can transmit those ideas to other people. And then we can educate the whole nation. On the panel with me is Professor Qureisha Abdul Karim, who's sitting over here. And she's from an organization called CAPRISA. It's a research organization. It's really one of the world's best research operations on HIV/AIDS. Now, I serve on the board of the CAPRISA. And the one thing that always shocks me when I'm at these meetings, at these board meetings, when I hear Professor Abdul Karim and her husband, Professor Salim Abdul Karim, when I hear them give reports about what progress we are making, I have two kinds of responses. The one is, what fantastic research we are doing. What fantastic progress we are making. And then on the other side, I feel totally depressed because what I also hear is that the infection rate of our people in South Africa is not falling. The infection rate is remaining the same. And this is a very big issue, and I'm so pleased that we are here today to talk about this. Now, I'm the oldest person here today. So you're going to have to bear with me. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflect about the time when I was young. So let me just say that when I was 16 years old, I grew up, well, first of all, I grew up in a place called Greytown. Do you know where that is? Durban. That's my home. I grew up there. When I was 16 years old, I hitchhiked a lift from Greytown, from Seven Oaks, where I grew up, near Greytown. I hitchhiked a lift to Edendale in Pietermaritzburg, to the Lay Center in Pietermaritzburg. Those of you who are from Pietermaritzburg, you'll know the Lay Center. And at the Lay Center, there was a meeting going on. It was a meeting of the South African Students' Organization. And for the first time, I saw this tall, strong, articulate, powerful human being give a speech. Do you know what his name was? His name was Steve Biko. And let me just tell you 3 or 4 things that he mentioned that day that completely changed my life. And I hope that you listen to me carefully. The first thing he said to us at that meeting is, be proud. He said, be proud. Be proud of who you are. Okay? It's the first time anybody ever said that to me. Be proud of who you are. The second thing he said, which I'll never forget, he said, our freedom is in our hands. Don't depend on somebody else to make you free. You have to grasp your freedom yourself. And the third thing he said is, unshackle your mind. Be free in your head. Because you can only get freedom if your head is free, if your brain is free. I tell you, that day, I was 16 years old, it completely changed my life. Completely changed my life. So what I want to say to you today is, even though the struggles that we went through in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s is totally different from your struggles, there are lessons to be learned from that period. And I'm just going to play around with this idea a little bit. When I think about those years, there are 4 or 5 things that leap out at me. The first thing is that the leaders who were leading us at the time, people like Steve Biko and so on, I would refer to them not just as leaders, but I would refer to them as servant leaders. I would refer to them as people who saw their role in life as fighting for other people, not just fighting for themselves. The second thing is that we were all activists. We were all crazy about activism. We all saw ourselves driven by this idea that we can change the world. The third thing is that there were powerful ideas. I just mentioned some of them. Powerful ideas. Ideas about democracy. Ideas about freedom. Ideas about equality, ideas about socialism, ideas about education, powerful ideas that were driving us. And the fifth one, and perhaps the most important one for this audience here today, is the question of knowledge, the question of studying, the question of understanding, the point that you can really only bring about change if you have a thorough understanding of what you are doing. So, I am the CEO of Universities SA. The 26 universities in South Africa are in an organization. That organization is called Universities SA. So, what I want to say to you is that you as students are central to this project. That without you, we are not going to win this war against HIV/AIDS. That you have to become this new generation of activists that take us to a time when we are rid of this disease that we call HIV/AIDS. So, what did I learn during that time? The first thing that I learned was the importance of study. The importance of ensuring that you are learning. The idea that knowledge is important. and that you as an individual must gain knowledge to have an effect. Second thing that I learned is try to be a servant to the people. Try to ensure that when you think about yourself as an activist, that it's not for yourself only, but it's about the community. It's about the people. It's about the country. It's about the nation. It's about Africa. It's about the world. That activism is really about you in the world and you in your community. And if you're a leader, whether you're an SRC leader or whether SRC member or whether you are a member of a club in society, think of yourself as a servant leader, as somebody who's not leading because you like power. That's a big story in South Africa, isn't it? That's a big story in South Africa. We must lead because we want to serve. And then Steve Biko's message, which is understand that the solution to our problems is in our hands. We are the ones that can bring about change. See, our struggle in the 1960s and 70s and 80s was easier than all yours. Why is that? Even though the apartheid regime was very brutal. Why was it easier? It was easier because we had a simple enemy. The enemy was apartheid. And we could fight this enemy easily. We could all unite against it. You have a very complex set of challenges that face you. HIV/AIDS, drug abuse, poverty, inequality, unemployment. These are all big challenges. So it's much more difficult for you. So what I want to suggest very much, Madam Chair, out of this meeting today, is that at this meeting, over the next 3 days, we come up with a new social contract. If you don't know what social contract is, just think of it as an agreement between us. A new social contract, a contract that involves you, the youth, involves the government, involves the universities, the colleges, and the social contract is that for once and for all, we will act together to get rid of this pandemic, the scourge of our nation. I know this is easier to say than to put into effect, but the first thing we must do is we must agree that as government, youth, universities, colleges, communities, that we are going to unite to fight the scourge of HIV and AIDS. Why do we want to do that? The reason we want to do that is because in 2050, we still want a brilliant nation. If we don't win this war, we won't have a nation to talk about. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Can we give another round of applause? Thank you, Professor. I think the message is loud and clear. We need to talk, we need to dialogue, we need to have a memorandum of understanding, a social one. Thank you, Prof. And the message is, we will not allow you to perish in our hands, because we will not have a nation next time. And that is why I get worried if I don't see the youth inside. We need this youth. We need to have a dialogue. We need to discuss issues and also agree that we have a problem. You know, as Professor Power is saying, our problems during those days were quite different from the problems that we have today. And here we are facing of HIV/AIDS that we need to talk about, and what are the things that we could do. Firstly is changing our behavior. And one of the things is to be tolerant of one another. Are we tolerant of one another? Are our environment and our institutions open for that. One of the things is for the LGBTIs to be participating within an environment without being scared of. And with that note, I will be asking our youth around here, Malitabo Sidibe, who is going to speak on issues of LGBTIs, is an activist of LGBTI in Venda University, or in the University of Venda, is a lesbian identifying person there. So let's give it to the young ones to talk to us. Over to you. We have a technical challenge. We'll give it another speaker before Malita. Yeah, so that she gets whatever she wants ready to be put into the system. I'm going to ask the next speaker, and while she is coming to talk, that's Dr. Esther Muller, the Country Director on United Nations FPA. We are going to have a sort of a video clip before she speaks, I'm told, that will be displayed. Who is the person to give it to us? They advised me to say before you talk, they are going to do some video clip from apparently UNFPA. Do you have people that are, yeah. Somebody came to me and said I must warn them. Maybe you need to talk, they will do it as you're talking. Oh. Okay. But who has to do it? They wanted to do this. Okay, hello. Thank you. We'll allow her to ascend the stage and go on. Then we'll get that video clip later. Thank you.
Good morning once again. Sanibonani, abantu abasha. I really want to speak with young people, particularly because this is their meeting. Let me begin by saying I stand here as Esther Muya from UNFPA, but more importantly, I want to say as a proud African woman. When I listen to young people speaking, especially from the poorer families, I empathize with them. When I started primary school, we never used to wear shoes because I was in school in the village. And let me say something that a lot of people might not know. I wore my first pair of shoes when I was going to high school. And nobody was going to convince me that I cannot make it. I used to look at the teachers in the village and the nurses at the mission hospital when I would be taken there, and I would admire, and I would say, I wish one day I can speak English like them and be able to dress the way they're dressing, wear shoes, and carry a handbag. And you know, when I sit back now, that's more than 55 years ago. I sit back and I say, wow, it actually could happen. So now as a mother, as a grandmother, I have come up and known what it means to be a young person who is poor, what it means to have parents who have no idea whether you have finished high school or you're beginning, and then you go to university and you have to find your way around. For some of us, it was the first time we were stepping in the city. You don't even know where you're beginning. We had nobody to hold our hands. The only thing I remember one time when I was in high school was watching a girl who had been pregnant being sent home. And when she was being sent home, we didn't have the policies you have now, where you can have the baby and come back. You got pregnant, you went home. If you were lucky, the man married you. If you were not lucky, you stay at home and hope somebody will pick you up as a domestic help one day to make a living. When I looked at that, I said, one of the things I want to see, no boy is going to make me pregnant. He remains in school and I go home. Cut my life short and allow him to go and become the district officer in the districts, and you remain poor at home and you continue to become more and more of a burden to your parents because now you bring in an extra mouth to feed. And it is with this in mind that I said, I think this morning, I'm not going to give you a PowerPoint. I'm not a professor. However, I'm going to speak from deep down in my heart. And I say this because everybody and anybody can make it and will make it, but you have to be determined. And when you're becoming determined, I think you have to look at zero tolerance to a number of things. Let me begin by saying, having been in South Africa for a while, I think we need to set certain goals. Young people, can we? In higher institutions and in lower institutions, can we? Can we say zero tolerance to harmful practices, including gender-based violence? Can we set that as a goal so that in the next 3 days we come up with strategies of how do we arrive at that? I listened to a young man this morning speaking here, and I think the government that is in the room, we need to set zero tolerance to unmet need, to sexual, reproductive health, rights, information, services, and all that goes with it. Can we do that? The other one that we must set as a goal, it may not be in 3 years, 2 years, but we can set it as a goal, is zero tolerance to HIV infection.